But that's an interesting part of this, is that one of the great reasons to take this course is that you may, if you become an academic law librarian, you may end up teaching this course, which is what happened to me. I'm teaching this course, but I never took this course, and it's that's just a strange thing, that you might have to teach something that you don't have a lot of experience doing. I mean, I've had a lot of experience doing it, but typically you could be hired just to teach this, and you may have no experience doing it. It's a very strange thing. And then you have the public law library, which I believe some people in the class work at public law libraries, and they support the public. Now, academic law libraries may also have a public component, especially if they're at a state law school. But the state law library has a public component, but they also serve a different constituency. So if say like this one, it's the state law library, it will serve the Court of Appeals, so it's serving the justices on the court. And so that's who's at the top. And then you have a library committee. Library committees are fairly common in public law libraries, public libraries. Then you have a director, a deputy director, and then you have sort of the divisions, and the librarians are underneath. Sort of there's, and I don't know how new you are to librarianship, but there's this reference and outreach. That's where reference and research go into. It's sometimes considered the public services or the front of house. And then you have tech services, which are discovery services. So it's kind of like the acquisitions portion, the search portion, and cataloging. And collection management is a lot of times considered tech services, but it may be its own thing. But you see here the website is also in here. Someone runs a website. This is pretty typical. Patrons are the public. There is an issue, and this comes up, I think, in your first discussion, or maybe your second discussion, about not being able to give legal advice. This is a big sort of issue with people who work in public law libraries, because patrons typically want to come in and do research, and they have legal needs. So a lot of what we'll talk about is how do we deal with that? How do we deal with that question? We want to help, but we are really prohibited from giving legal advice. How far can we go? And usually when you work in a public law library, you don't have to have a law degree. Here's an example. Travis County is open to the public, and they serve Travis County. And they're a really great library locally. So that comes to the end of it, and it was a little bit under an hour. I'm kind of pleased with myself there. I hope this modality works, and this I'm not sure how to caption the PowerPoint, so that's my next hurdle. I can caption videos, but PowerPoints are a little bit weird, so that's the next thing I'll do. If you have questions about this PowerPoint, anything I've said in the narration, just make a note of it and bring it up at our meeting. Okay, or you can just shoot me an email if you don't want to talk about it with everybody else. Okay, thanks.